story. It's an emes amaisa. It's so when we learn. Oh, wow,
Seltzer.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, for you. Sounds like a champagne bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to try?
Jewish champagne.
Oh,
So anyway, we start the week with Likkutei Sichos. Parrots, you got a copy? Here, give a copy to Parrots, please. When there's no better way to start the week than to start it with Likkutei Sichos. This sikh is a Geshmak sikh, a Rashi sikh. What's unique in this sikh is there is a bunch of questions. There's maybe 9 questions on a Rashi that only has 3 words.
only that.
Lee?
The Rashi has 3 words and the Rebbe has 9 questions.
Only that.
Okay, Rashi said Lee.
3 words. He even says only really 2 words. Okay, let's go straight into the sikh. And a lot of times when you learn the sikh well, the pshat becomes 3D. The whole story jumps up. It becomes alive. The pshat, like what happened, and then you have a deeper appreciation for the drash and the soid. Vayakhel Moshe, Koladas b'nei Yisrael, Vayomer Aleim. He said to them, "Eila dvarim asher tziva Hashem la'asasoisa." These are the things the Eibush said. Sheish yom t'alsa malacha v'yom hashvi yilachem kodesh habesh habasam Hashem kol oisa b'malacha yomas. Lo yisavaru eish bochel moshvei seichem yom haShabbos. And Rashi says that he really wanted to tell them about Malachas HaMishkan. But the Eibishter said they should be makdim Shabbos to tell them that even when they build a Mishkan, they have to keep Shabbos and they can't be Doiche Shabbos because of the Malachas HaMishkan. Rashi says, Hikdem lahem azor Shabbos, l'tziv Malachas HaMishkan, lo mishene Doiches Shabbos. Okay. Vayom Moshe al kol adas b'nei Yisrael leimer. זה הדובר שהציב השם לאמר, קחו מאיתכם תרומה להשם כל נדיב ליבו יביאו איז תרומת השם. זו וחסד ונחושת. Rashi says זה הדובר שהציב השם. He quotes so many words from the pasuk to say what? Li lamer lachem. By the way, the word lamer here is emphasized because in the original Ksaviyat from Rashi, not the way it's published in most Chumoshim, Rashi a lot of times wrote words sort of underlined. What he meant was that he's not writing his words, he's writing the words of the pasuk. So here, this print actually was the right way. Rashi only wrote 2 words. Zeh adova she'etziv Hashem, and Rashi writes li, and he quotes from the pasuk lamer, and he adds the word lachem. So really, Rashi only wrote 2 words, li lachem, li lachem. Obviously, all the Mefoshim, what's Rashi Vayakhel saying? Do you know one pasuk? There's a story with the Mittler Rebbe. He was a little boy. One of the old Chassidim had to play games with him. So he said, "I have an unbelievable pocket knife. I'll give it to you. But tell me where I can find the Eibusher. Where can I find Hashem?" So the Mittler Rebbe pulled out from his pocket a pocket knife, and he said, "You know what?" And he said, "No, of course it said, tell me where I can find Hashem. I'll give you my pocket knife." So the Mittler Rebbe was a little boy. He pulled out his pocket knife. He says, "You know what? I'll give you my pocket knife if you tell me one place you can't find Hashem." Tell me one pasuk. So the Chassid said, "Oh, now you get my pocket knife." So tell me where's the one pasuk? Yeah. Here. You don't need a chumash. I have the copies today. I made the fancy copies. But it's good to have a chumash anyway. It might have a few. So where is there a Rashi? Where is there a pasuk that the Eibishter did not tell Moshe to tell the Yidden? Every pasuk in the chumash is li leimer lachem. Everything is li leimer lachem. And Moshe kibul toidim esin l'tzar Yeshua. All the Mefoshim. What's mitna Rashi saying li leimer lachem? So the good Ari here. So let's go through a few of the classic Mefarshim. The good Ari is the Maral Prague. He writes out of Shetziv Hashem li leimer lachem. Ein tzivu dovuk el k'chu mitchem truma. Da edim ken ha'em kein leimer hoi perusha zeh adova shetziv Hashem leimer shekadosh baruch hu amar k'chu mitchem truma. You might read the pasuk straight. that the Eibushter said, what did the Eibushter say? But that's not the pshat. So it's hard to understand what the Gurari is even trying to say, but perhaps he's saying that we don't find the Torah the Eibushter should talk to the Jews lanoich. It's not a language that the Eibushter usually talks to the Yid. Fikach Pidish Zadavar Shetziv Hashem Li Leimer Lachem Behashti Osir Have Shapir Acherov Chum. It's very hard to understand, but the Rebbe says Taka. It's hard to understand, but the Rebbe explains what the Gurari means. That the Rebbe, the Gurari says the Eibushter never spoke Lanoicha to the Jews. So what is it? The Eibushter says Chum Yitchem Trumas Lashem. It doesn't make sense. So Rashi says no. He said like this. Leimer Moshe Rabbeinu spoke. And he said, Leimer. This was the thing that the Eibushter said to me. And I'm not giving you over the words of the Eibushter. I'm giving you the gist of what the Eibushter said. Usually I tell you word for word. Today I'm just telling you. So that's the two Leimers. This is what Moshe Rabbeinu said. He said, the Eibushter spoke to me, but when he spoke to me, he didn't say the words Chumi Itchem. He said whatever he said, and I'm paraphrasing the Eibushter's words. That's why the pasuk is like a double lashon. The Eibushter spoke to me, and he said something. I'm not telling you what the Eibushter said, but I'm telling you the general what the Eibushter said. There's a few problems with this pshat. The biggest problem is the Aseres Adibris. What does it say? Anoichi Hashem, Leikecho. The Eibushter is talking Anoichi. In this pasuk Gufa, it's in the previous pasuk. It says, "B'yom hashviyi lochem kodesh." Yolochem. The Eibushter talks Anoichi. A lot of times the Eibushter talks Anoichi. So and over here also it says, "B'yom hashviyi lochem kodesh." It's Lanoichi. Kilu. If the Maral meant to say, like it seems what he means. But yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, it says he's talking to them. So and the Rebbe says maybe he meant something else. Maybe the Maral meant, but it's a doichik to say. Maybe he meant something else. He meant to say that L'choide in Parshas Truma it says V'yikhuli Truma. So it sounds like the Eibushter when he spoke to Moshe he said V'yikhuli, and over here he says Chumi Itchem. So that Rashi's answer, and that's what the Maral meant. That the Eibushter really said V'yikhuli, and he paraphrased the words of the Eibushter. But it doesn't sound like that's what the Maral is trying to say. And if that's what the Maral is not trying to say, it's funny, Rashi didn't explain himself. Rashi should have said, Zeh Dovish Etziv Hashem Li B'Parshas Truma, and whatever. Rashi says something else, but it's not in the words of Rashi. Let's read the Mizrahi. The Mizrahi says, Zeh Dovish Etziv Hashem Li Leimer Lachem. Hoisif Milas Li, Ach Etziv Hashem, or Milas Leimer Lachem. I'm sorry, Lachem. It's a typo. Lochem acher leimer. Mipnei. What's the reason? Shebezulus tesefes. Without this extra word, li. Ayinu mefarshim. Zeh adav asher tziva Hashem lochem. Not li. Afal pi shaloniske b'toyre b'shum makom u'kamoyer rabim. What's he saying? He's saying.
He's talking to Moshe or he's talking to the
No, he's saying lo niska b'toyre b'shum makom u'kamoyer rabim. That when this the lashon of the pasuk sounds like he's saying a chiddush. That he's saying a chiddush. That Kilu, he said now something that you never knew. You never knew. Kilu of chiddush davar. Moshe stands up. Hear ye. Vayomer Moshe al kol adas b'nei Yisrael leima zeh davar. It's a chiddush davar. You never heard about it before. Ava bishel niske betoyde b'shumakim kamoy rabim such a lotion that kilo is a chidush dover. It's not a chidush dover. We know already about the Mishkan from Pashas Trumat Tzav and Kisisa. Lefika choisef li shekvar niske ze beperush Trumat Tzav Ktas Mekitisa. Again, based on the Sikh, I'm playing around here. The words are almost impossible. It's like Chinese. He's almost talking Chinese or Mandarin. He's not talking Lashon Kodesh here. It's like, what he's saying? It sounds like that's what he's saying. Like that. Where's the chiddush? We already know it. The answer is that there's no chiddush taka, and he paraphrased what the Eibishter had to say. Okay. Then he says another thing. If that's the chiddush in the word li, and what's the lochem? So he says, the word lochem, Helem Zichrei, Bezulas Tesefes Milas Lachem, Acher Milas Lemer, without Rashi adding the word Lachem. After the Lemer, Yinu Mefarshim, Lemer, Li ke Milas Lemer, Bechol Mokim Sheperusha, Lemer Loi. Lavad Mu'otim, Vehem Yeduim. Again, it's mamish you're talking Mandarin here. So again, the Seir Eben the Sikh a little bit explains. What he thinks is, Lemer, Lamer can mean two things. Lamer can mean, like Malama teaches in Yiddish. Lamer, my kids learn now. It's funny because they don't. Unfortunately, we don't talk so much Yiddish today in the house. So in the Chabad schools, they teach them. It's a little crazy. They teach the word in Yiddish and then in English. That's the way it works today at least in many of the Chabad schools. Traditional Chabad schools.
In Williamsburg,
only Yiddish. But it's a different Yiddish b'chlal. It's a funny Yiddish, but but in Chabad they have this thing today that they teach the kids in Yiddish, and it's proper Yiddish. But the kids really, unfortunately, at home most kids are not talking Yiddish, so they say it's crazy. They learn every word in Yiddish and then in English. Because if you learn Yiddish, the kids are not learning it. So you have no choice to teach them in English, but still it stays daf learning in Yiddish. So anyway, so it's still this cheat. So Leimer is azoy zu sagen. Leimer is azoy zu sagen.
Not zu sagen.
Not zu sagen, azoy zu sagen. Azoy zu sagen. There is an exception that Leimer would mean iber zu sagen. Leimer could mean vaydaber shema Moshe Leimer. Azoy zu sagen, say these words. Or Leimer can mean Leimer to repeat. Iber zu sagen. So he did the Mizrahi saying that usually b'chol mokem leimer is pirushe leimer loy. Melvad mu'otim v'hem yeduim lefike choyse milas lachem mipnei shemilas tzchoa ba'bo acharav murder shepirushe leimer lachem, to repeat to you, not that he's saying this exact same lashon. He's just repeating to you, something like that. Anyway, it's so mefulful. If you expect a kid that's Chamish L'Mikra should understand this, the Rebbe doesn't understand what this Mizrahi said. Now you expect a kid to understand? The Maskil of David says, the Koshalei, the Havalam Hashatziv Hashem Lasses, Valoi Leimer, the Malachs of Mishkan Shai Chasiyah, Wakach Mabtaritz, Hatzivui, Havalei Lagabe Moshe, Leimer Yisrael. Uma, Shuhutzach Lo, Idea Beperish, Akach Tziva Kadosh Baruch Hu. Oh, how are you? Mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Why are you sitting here? Sit here. So he says, even the Hoyzer looked at Feris Lar and Achoyev, Shahu Amachaim Bebayis, Valovish Begodim Lakovid looked at Forest Shalo Yom Rukhalila Shalachovid Achev Hoyois Akain Midaita. Okay, that's a cute Kiddush. Sif Zechom says, Lima Lema Lachem, the Mikra Mash Mazar Dov Tziva Lachol Yisrael Lema Lacherim. Lachapidish, Li Tziva Shem Lachem, Lafuki Shor Amiris Loyo Bahaka. Sure exactly what he means, but anyway, Eretz Chemda says like this. Zeh Dov Tziva Shem Lema is very Gishmak Pshat. Yish Ladas, Lo Mashina Bekan Lo Mazar Dov. ונראה דעתי מה שקוסה במקום אחר, מה שקוסה ודנויסת מוישה הלנדיים שנסתם ובזה. הדובר ששכינה מדברת פרקורני של מוישה, ואמת מצינו כמה פעמים שגם נבוס מוישה היה בקוי. ואמרתי, דמר לסנובי הוא לפי ערך שלמס ישראל. Veis shehu Yisrael b'madrega yoino is nebus Moshe b'zeh adover. But like shehu b'shval madrega, then it was the koi. He's asking a simple question, giving a simple answer. Rambam says, and the Chazal, the Gemara says, "Kol hanavim nisnabu b'koi, u'Moshe nisnaba b'zeh." But a few times, koi Hashem, chatay salayla v'tech mitzrayim. So it says koi, but Moshe Rabbeinu also says koi. So what's going on? So he says, you could say such a pshat that when the Yidden deserved it, it was zeh. Pari deserves a zeh. Pari doesn't deserve a zeh. He gets a koi. So, so Rashi don't think that you were ruined, you were soiled by the sin of the Egel, and therefore when the Eibush is going to talk to you now, he's not going to give the high level of Nevuah of Zeh Dover. Marabet's boy Zeh. Close. So you'd say, no, when the Eibush is going to talk to them, they're sinners now. They sinned with the Egel. So the Eibush should say, Koi Omar Hashem. No. Zeh Dover.
Even though they're saying this so.
Because now they're doing tshuva, they're building this. The Eibush said Zeh Dover. Okay. Very nice. Oyesh Lefarish. Mashikosa, beautiful pshat, he says. Mashikosa Zeh Dover Yesh Lav Madu Achur. No sanav shela rigal dvar kiddush Hashem. Loiken Adam bechir Hashem. Chur got killed al kiddush Hashem. He didn't let the Jews go to Egel. Aaron didn't. Why was it that Chur was Moise Nefesh and he got killed al kiddush Hashem? Not
I was going to get killed also.
I'm scared. So get killed al kiddush Hashem. Why? So Achidu Shemaisa Egel Irak lahoidis tshuva. Hine Amru Sholal and Nevuah Nefesh Achatas Mate Allah Amar Nefesh Achatas He Thomas Sholal HaKadosh Baruch Hu Miyasa Tshuva V'Iskaper like Lafize Nevuah Ena Maskemas Ala Tshuva Lasachusha Novi Mosa Nafshe Al Maisa Egel Shenkin Ahanan Yoda Shehu Lahoidis Tshuva Hine Nevuah Sanavim Hoy Bekoy Shem Bekoy Amar Nevuah Koy Nevuah Shlich Hashem Shenkin Zeh Shechina Medaberes B'Tegerene Shal Moshe Mamish כאשר בו לא אמר להם שיש כפור על מעשה העגל, כתב משום שהיה רק להוידס, אמר לה, זה הדבר שציווה השם להם הקדוש ברוך הוא נותן יד לפושים ומקבל בתשובה. Beautiful pshat. Unbelievable. Sweet, sweet pshat. What's the pshat? זה הדבר? You might think that they were neslachlich b'chet, they just had the chet of the worst chet, the egel. So why should Moshe be misnava b'zeh? He should be misnava b'koi. Teach us no. But there was still was all b'zeh. The Rebbe says that Rashi himself in Parshas Matas, it says zeh adover in Parshas Matas, Masa, right in the beginning of Matas. Zeh adover shetziv Hashem. What's zeh adover? What's mit namol the zeh adover? Moshe nisna b'koyam Hashem chutzois alayla, v'anavim nisna b'koyam Hashem. Moshe shenisna b'loshen zeh adover. Zeh adover. It's a higher dag. Zeh, bigger than koi. That's why Rashi says Moshe Rabbeinu's chiddush is zeh adover. Zeh. Moshe was nisna b'zeh. Okay. So why did Rashi wait at Matas to say it over there? Why couldn't Rashi say over here that that's a pshat over here? That zeh adover. Rashi saying here a funny pshat that no one understands. Epis pshat li lochem. What's the li? What's the lochem? Li leima lochem. That's a funny pshat. What does Rashi mean b'chlal? Li lochem. What's Rashi saying? Rashi could have said here, like the Eretz Chem, like Rashi himself says, zeh Rabbi say samoydedik. Moshe is not sometimes bekoi. But you would think over here he's to the bad guys. They're doing tshuva. No. Bezeh. Okay. But Rashi doesn't say. Doesn't say. The Rebbe says like this. Rashi is worried about Pasuk. This whole Pasuk doesn't make sense. It says, Vayakhel Moshe Kol Adas Bnei Yisrael Vayomer Aleim Eila Adorim Shetziv Hashem La'asas Oisem. What is the Pasuk talking about? Not Sheishes Yomim T'Asa Malacha. Rashi says Sheishes Yomim T'Asa Malacha was only Agav Urcha. He's telling them, you should know when you're going to do the Mishkan. By the way, you should know the Malachas Mishkan is not Doicha Shabbos. But the Iker Vayakhel Moshe was to teach them.
Why did he start?
To teach them that Malachas Mishkan has to be done, but not on Shabbos. But like the older Meforshim would say, the Vayakhel was to tell them Malachas Mishkan. So because the Vayakhel Moshe was to tell them Malachas Mishkan, why do you have to tell me a second time? Vayomer Moshe al kol adas bnei Yisrael leimer zeh adover shetziva Hashem leimer. You said already. Vayakhel Moshe as kol adas bnei Yisrael. Vayomer aleim eila dvarim shetziva Hashem latzasoiso. Why do you tell me a new thing? Vayomer Moshe al kol adas bnei Yisrael leimer zeh adover shetziva Hashem leimer. And if you do have to say it a second time, if you do have to say it, why is it a new lotion? Zeh adover, it's a very funny lotion. The whole lotion is very funny. What's a very funny lotion? What's Rashi saying? What's Rashi saying? I mean, what's the pasuk? Rashi's bothered. What's the pasuk saying over here? It's a funny pasuk. It's a very funny lotion. Zeh adover shetziva. What's the zeh adover? Kilu. The whole reason why he gathered them is to tell them about the Mishkan. So otherwise you'd say like he gathered them to tell them Hilchos Shabbos, and at the end he said, "Oh, by the way, Zer Adova, I have a new thing to tell you," but it's not true. He gathered them to tell them about the Mishkan. So first of all, what do you have to say? Anu Vayem Moshe.
By the way, not that.
The Shabbos is the by the way, and not this. So what's the the B'chlal the pasuk? And if you do say the pasuk Zer Adova, what's the lashon Zer Adova? What's going on over here? So Rashi is a moedik chidush. I can't believe. Truth is, till the Rebbe came, like, why did no one learn such a pshat? It's so simple. When it goes into the words, unbelievable. The Rebbe says the problem is a lot of Mefarshim right away thought of a pilpul. They didn't read the words. Me and you also didn't read the words until the Lubavitcher Rebbe came. So the Rebbe says you have to read the words. What is Rashi saying? Zeh adover shetziva Hashem. Li. Leimer lachem. Zeh adover. Rak davar zeh. There's 613 mitzvahs. Everything the Eibush said to Moshe Rabbeinu was for Moshe and for all the Jews. Is Moshe allowed to eat a burger with cheese? No. Is a yid? No. Moshe and Yisrael are the same thing. All 613 mitzvahs, Moshe and Yisrael are the same thing. One exception. One exception. The mitzvah of Malachas HaMishkan. Zeh hadover. You should know is li leim malachem. Ani lo ase shum davar. Asur li lasot. Asur. But Moshe Rabbeinu was also to do. It was asur. All 630 mitzvahs Moshe Bnei Yisrael are equal. One mitzvah, the Eibush said to me, I should tell you, I'm not allowed to do it. I'm not allowed to do it. It's awesome. The Rebbe says that this is fa'emfet amoyedike kasha. In the end of Parshas Likkutei, there's a Rashi, it's a beautiful Rashi. It says that the Yidden brought the Mishkan to Moshe Rabbeinu. Lamed Tes, Lamed Gimel, in Pikuda, that they couldn't put together the Mishkan. It
Was too heavy.
It was too heavy. Ve'aviu es a Mishkan al Moshe, lefi shelo yo yochelim lakime. Lefi shelo yosa Moshe shum melocha b'Mishkan hinich lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu hakomosei. Shelo yo yochel lakime shum odom. Why would Moshe not do shum melocha b'Mishkan? You know what it says? It says Hanasim Aviu. The Nasim brought special, and Rashi says it's missing a Yud. Hanasim should say with the Yud is missing Yud. Why? Because the Nasim said, "Oh, don't worry, the Jews will bring." And at the end, there's going to be money missing. There's always every campaign. There's missing money at the end. There's not enough. It never gets to the goal. Every fundraiser at the end never gets to the goal.
The only one that got to the goal before Moshe Rabbeinu.
Moshe Rabbeinu. Dai ve'oisa.
Stop.
Dai ve'oisa.
Never happened since then.
Never happened. So the Mela, the Nasim said, "Don't worry, we'll give it at the end." And because they were misatzel b'mitzvah, so therefore the Eibusha took out the Yud from them, and from the Nasim, they got punished, and the Nasim chosaksiv. So why should Moshe Rabbeinu not be mishtat of anything in the Malachas HaMishkan? Didn't give a donation, didn't give $18 high donation, he didn't give nothing.
How to do it.
He said, but he didn't do anything.
Yeah, he said how to do it. Give things off,
But he himself didn't get involved. So the Rashi answers Here, Rashi explains to Chumash Lemikra. It was Exedus Akoshu. The Eibishter said, "Zeh Adover Achidush. Zeh Adover Ashetziva Hashem Li Leimer Lochem Li Lochem."
The word Li is
Only Li that I should say it to you, but I'm not allowed to do it. That they should bring Zov, Vayakhel, and Achoshes and everything. The whole Ma'isa Mishkan,
not me.
Nidvasa Mishkan. It's all for you, not for me. I'm not allowed to do it. The Eibishter doesn't let me do it. Why? So before we ask the kasha favos, just let's make clear. It's a beautiful chiddush. The Rebbe says that's why you don't need any meforshim here. Rashi says simple. Li leimer lachem. The Eibishter said to me.
You have to go back to Mizrahi.
He said very simple. Rashi said no pilpul. Zeh Hashem. Li leimer lachem. That's why the whole pasuk is the pasuk is extra. No, because Lagabi Shabbos, Moshe and Bnei Yisrael are equal. B'Shamur Bnei Yisrael is a Shabbos, Moshe and Bnei Yisrael is equal. But Lagabi Malachas HaMishkan, Nidvus HaMishkan, and Malachas HaMishkan, it was Li Lei Malachem. I should tell you, you should do it. I'm not allowed to do it. Why? So the Rebbe says two pshatim, one pshat and one in Pnimis Inyanim. One in pshat. Why were they told to make the Mishkan? The whole idea of the Mishkan is that to show them that the Eibush is machaper on the Egel. That's why Parsha Shmini it says. What does Moshe is not shaykh to it? Exactly. It says exactly because he was not the oil mechutz lamachna. Moshe was baklal not shaykh to it. You can't say why he wasn't moichen the Yidden or anything. It says at the end when the Yidden came, they complained. It's in Parsha Shmini. It says that the Moshe went out and he says the Yidden complained that we worked so hard in order to know that the Eibishter forgave us for the Egel. So we see that the whole Mishkan was in order to show that the Eibishter forgives for the Egel. Because the Egel made it should be the opposite of Ashros Hashchina. That instead of Ashros Hashchina, there was the opposite of Ashros Hashchina. It was missing the Ashros Hashchina. Because the Jews sinned in the Egel. Yeah. So therefore, sit down. It's for you. So Moshe Rabbeinu didn't sin. When the Jews sinned in the Egel Dash, there was the Shechina had gone away, and through building the Mishkan, the Hashros Hashchina came back. But because Moshe Rabbeinu, so therefore they said, "You're not involved. It's not for you." Okay, and the Torah, there's no extra thing. If it's for you, you must do it. And if it's not for you, you're not supposed to do it. And that's it.
If Rashi wouldn't say nothing, what Chumash was thinking? Moshe is part of it.
But being part of it. Also, Chumash has a shayla. What's this whole pasuk? So Rashi says, this is the Inyan. The pasuk is saying, he said, that he said, Li leimer lachem. That he said to me that I should tell it over to you, but it's not shaykh to me, only to you. She's supposed to learn with a good Malamed. He's supposed to learn with a Malamed that learns the Rashi with the Likkutei Sichos. That's the only.
I did it for Chumash. Like how is supposed to understand?
It's funny. All the Mefarshim are working so hard, and so many people pull them. And the Rebbe comes, it's a beautiful pshat. That all that Rashi is saying is Zeh Adova Shetziva Hashem Li Leimer Lachem. Zeh Adova, this is one exception, one of the 650 mitzvahs David said for me to tell you, and I should not do. The Rebbe says that the pshat is like this. And the pshat is Moshe Rabbeinu's Inyan is Torah. And the din is Eime Vatlin, Talmud, Tenok Shemre, Yisrael, Lebinya Beis HaMikdash. So therefore, also Moshe Rabbeinu was not allowed to be Mevatel Torah in order to get involved in the Binyan HaMikdash, to teach the Yidden Torah how to build the Mishkan, how to give the Nidvas HaMishkan. That's in Yonah Shal Moshe Torah. But Lepoil to get involved in he gave it over to Betzalel, and he gave it over to Bnei Yisrael. He himself did not get involved in the Asiyas HaMishkan. At the end, the Eibishter showed the Yidden that there was one thing they couldn't do. The Kroshim were very heavy, and the Eibishter made a thing that Moshe Rabbeinu was the only one that was able to pick up the Kroshim, to give Moshe Rabbeinu something. But the Rebbe says that someone could ask by Adam, by Aaron, it says that Chol Shadaiti Shaloi Hoyahu V'Loi Shifte Imam B'Chanukas Nesim. The Nesim brought special korbanos to inaugurate the Mizbeach, and Aaron didn't get a part of it, and he had felt very bad. And the Eibush said, "Balois Chasanedis Al Mul Pnei Menoide that Chayecha Shalcha Gedola Shalahem Sha'ata Made Madlik Umeitav Anedav. You have something bigger than the rest of the Nesim. You have the Indian of the Menoide."
Maybe Amud wasn't involved in his idea also.
No, but the Rebbe is asking, why over here did Moshe Rabbeinu not have a Chalishus Hadas that he is not getting the mitzvah of the Mishkan? Muss man sagen that Moshe hat gleich verstanden that he is Lamaila Ma Mishkan. Why? Just like Shabbos. We never heard that Shabbos should complain, why you're not building the Mishkan on me? Why you're not building the Mishkan on Shabbos? Because you understand, because the Eibush is saying the Kedusha Shabbos is higher than building the Mishkan. So therefore, even though the Mishkan is very important to be built, but on Shabbos you're not allowed to build it. It's Kedusha Shabbos is stronger than building the Mishkan. So Moshe Rabbeinu understood that the same thing was Lagabi him, that just like Shabbos is not going to complain, why you're not building the Mishkan on me? Moshe Rabbeinu, there's no Nesinis Mokum for him to complain, why you're not giving me a Chelek in the Malachas HaMishkan? Moshe Rabbeinu's Indian is to learn Torah. Okay. This is Maraf Sanegra. When I've seen this Rashi, I was thinking about it this morning, that we're going to learn about it, and saying, like, wow, what's the thing that happens to be on the agenda now? There's a lot on the agenda. But in the world, there's lately there's a big push in Israel, and there is it's even being brought to the Supreme Court, that the Bnei Yeshiva Hayatochen, they're not going to the army. It's funny, like these organizations that no one knows where their funding is coming from. I mean, to bring something to Supreme Court, you need lawyers, and lawyers charge a lot of money. Who is paying? Who's funding all these things? Like all these left-wing organizations today in Israel. The one thing that lately has been, who is funding them? Who is funding them? Is it United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Iran Alain? Who's funding them? Who is funding them? Shloimeh Amune B'nai Yisrael are not funding them. Me and you are not writing checks to them.
All the high tech.
Huh?
All the high tech.
Yesh Oimrim, just like in Islam today in America, the universities, that there is billions of dollars, not millions,
Billions.
that are coming from all
Arabs, most Arabs.
because they want to buy influence.
Yeah, sure.
There is a big yesh oimrim that a lot of these organizations in Israel that supposedly are advocating for peace, but from wann kommt the Geld? Follow the money. Follow the money. Follow the money. Where's the money coming from? So the money, unfortunately, has been proven on some of these organizations that are coming from all kinds of questionable places in Europe, countries that they're not, they hate us. So why are they funding these organizations? Why are they funding these organizations? Verstehst doch allein why they're funding these organizations. So there's Mitnamol lately came up again in Israel in the news that they want to bring it to the Supreme Court, and the Bnei Yeshiva are not going to the army. But the thing is that the Bnei Yeshiva have to sit and learn now more than ever before. Just like by Moshe Rabbeinu, there wasn't shaykh for Moshe Rabbeinu to say,
they agree that you saw that you need somebody to sit and learn also. But they're upset, why they learning and one us, not us. They should go to the army and we should learn. That's what they want to do.
Let them come and learn. Halavai. Very good.
הבן שלי צריך ללכת למות ואתה יושב ולומד. So שהבן שלך יושב וילמד, and then somebody else will go to them. No, that's not.
Yeah. So that's the big thing that's going on in Israel now. it's hard to say. It's very hard to say, like you say. People that they're
But
told,
that time when the one that told they to go back to the army, stop loaning, go to the army, they said no, but in the army you can't do this, you can do this only us.
huh?
All the high jobs in the army, not from people.
Yeah,
That's us.
right,
You're not.
right. It happens. Yeah, it happens to be. It's very true. There's a glass ceiling in the army. All those people that come from yeshivas Hesder, the yeshivas.
They stop him at one.
Right. They don't.
One guy who's very big in the army now, and middle of the war, they took him out.
Right.
From the Air Force.
Right.
Why? Because they put the army, became Balchuva.
Yeah. There's a conflict. There's a glass ceiling. There's this thing called a glass ceiling.
These few people say the Air Force belong to us, the army belong to us, and then there's the government.
There's a glass ceiling. It's everyone that's in the army will tell you that. Just like there used to be in America in different corporations, a glass ceiling for minorities or other things that they could never climb to. It's a klal you do in the IDF that you could fight in Gaza, you could dedicate 25 years of your life, but you'll never get to the top ever. If you're from Yid. But okay, so that's we know the emes. But anyway, Taka, what's the answer? The answer is that Moshe Rabbeinu Deisha said, L'choyre, Moshe Rabbeinu is going to say, what's so terrible? I also want to be involved in the Malachas HaMishkan. I also want to be involved in the Malachas HaMishkan. The answer is you're not allowed to. So Moshe Rabbeinu says, so what can I do? Rebbeinu Shalom, what can I do? Teach them Torah. Teach them how to build the Mishkan. So, the Ben Yeshiva is supposed to sit and learn and not stop learning. But one thing he has an exception, to teach another Yid. To teach another Yid. So to teach them, Li Leimer Lachem, Leimer, to teach them the halachas. Oh, that he was mechuyev to teach them the halachas. He was mechuyev to teach them the halachas. But the Malachas HaMishkan, das nicht. The Malachas HaMishkan, the Eivish is a beferish nicht. You're not allowed to get involved in the Malachas HaMishkan. Your union is in Torah and not Malachas HaMishkan. Teaching another Yid, Adarabah. And the Chazal, the Alter Rebbe says, when you teach another Yid, you yourself, your own Torah increases bekamus and be'echus. And when Moshe Rabbeinu taught the Yidden about how to build the Mishkan, he was Zoicha, it should be Asher Ereisa Ba'or. Because Niskasha Moshe, because Moshe said, I'm trying to explain. I give a shiur, and I'm standing with a big blackboard, and I'm still showing here and there. I'm teaching them at Rabbi Yosef Glili, Rabbi Akiva, and everyone's getting tzamished over here with the Matan Adomim, Prufa Min Adorem, Prufa Min Atzofen. You're spinning this way, you're going this way. Rabbanu Shalom, it's getting very difficult. So David said, you know what? Moshe Rabbeinu, come, go now. Shereresa Bahar, David showed him things. Dafka, when he wanted to teach the Yidden, he was netoisiv to him. It should be Neresa Bahar. So, bottom line is, the Bnei Yeshiva have to sit and learn Torah. However, they have to dedicate time to learn and teach Taka to the Anshe Atzova that they should also have Torah. So, David shall help from Taka that we know the emes. We know the emes. It's not only the Bnei Yeshiva that's sitting in Bnei Brak and Yerushalayim. Tivot to Tzvas, but every Yid that's sitting here tonight, there's no shiloh that are learning Torah is an unbelievable chizuk and skus for the Anshe Atzova. They shall helfen that there should be matzliach and the mitzvah Hashem. Whatever happened to Haman, the first Haman, came to Yalonu laYehudim v'Yisrael v'Simcha v'Sasam v'Yikor. L'chaim.
Very nice.
Oh man, L'chaim.
Now what? We saw your sign.
Oh man. Oh,
That's the only person that's giving the money? We saw your sign. Your ticket sign.
The whole of the soil, everything is nice. The one problem is why is Shiur Bokum not going to the top? That's the only problem.
Right.
Is there an actual issue? Like, do they have like a manpower issue, or?
Yeah, you can't live out the soil if you didn't went to the army. There's many things they do to you too.
I guess I'm going to the army in 2 weeks.
L'chaim, he should be matzliach, Noya, David should be with him, protect him.
Nice.
Oh man.